Well, it's been a minute since I uploaded any videos on this channel, so I thought I'd upload another video on something financial, some kind of financial education of some sort, just to keep everyone up to date. And I like to exchange ideas on that kind of stuff. You know, sometimes when I scroll through like social media or just pull up Google on my phone or computer, you get these like just random articles sometimes, especially on the phone when you pull it up. So sometimes I'd see like news articles on something to do with any financial news, I guess, because you know how like there's a sports news section and uh, political news section. There's also like a financial news section too. So every now and then I'd see that and click on them, or see it on Facebook or something like that, or Twitter. But for the most part, I haven't like paid attention at all. I mean, I'd still buy stocks every now and then. Just 2 days ago, I bought some CVS, but I just bought it because I wanted a dividend stock, and that was the first one that popped in my head. I haven't like actually compared much stocks recently. You know, usually I do some kind of comparative analysis of some sort. But I went on YouTube today and I YouTubed a Ray Dalio interview, and this was, I think, the last interview he did as of recently, which was on March 25th, 21. So, you know, just a couple weeks ago, actually. You can find it on YouTube, though. And the guy questions him about the stimulus, China, Bitcoin, and things of that nature. And there's some okay information within that video, nothing too great. Every time they interview those billionaires, it's never something where it's like, oh, wow, you know, if only I knew that, now I'm so much smarter. You know, there's never anything like that when they do those interviews, but every now and then you can find something that's a little interesting. So one of the questions was, is Bitcoin in a bubble? I guess this is two questions. And what is the chances the government will outlaw Bitcoin? And Ray Dalio's responses were, Bitcoin has proven itself over the last 10 years. You know, he said it hasn't been hacked, and I don't know if it has been hacked or not. So I can't confirm that myself, but that's what he said. And, you know, it's been used by the market. The market has essentially embraced Bitcoin. But he argued that the downside is governments treasure its monopoly on currencies. So it's a good probability the government outlaws Bitcoin the way gold was. And he said something, I didn't know this, but I guess India today is making moves to outlaw Bitcoin, to outlaw possession of it. So I don't know how that's going to turn out or how it did turn out. But I Google searched some Bitcoin stuff just because I wasn't too sure on all of it. And there's quite a few countries it's banned in. But those are countries where it's like, you know, who cares? You know, things like Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Saudi Arabia. You know, it's like whatever. Like, who cares if they ban those? You know, we don't live there. Most people don't live there that use YouTube. But then it said places like China has done somewhat of a ban on it or some kind of restriction. India, as like I said, India, Egypt. And then you can kind of scroll. I'm going to put the link on this article, which I'm reading from. It's called Crypto News, or at least I'm going to, not the link, but maybe I'll just post like the photos of what it looks like. Because there's some decent info in here. You can see the trading volumes. So for instance, in China, in 2017, we were seeing a lot of Bitcoin was being traded a lot. And then you can see India in 2019, they were trading Bitcoin quite a bit. I think it was like 2016, I think was maybe 2017 was the year where Bitcoin was, again, it's going recently, it's going up too, but I think that's when there was a bunch of like billionaire Bitcoin people. And I think again recently, because Bitcoin's all the way up at like, I think 50 something thousand, 58, something like that. Is that what it got to? I can search it real quick. Okay, I didn't know this. It's at 62,000. It got all the way up to 63,000, $63,500, $594. Okay, I didn't know it got that high. I own some Bitcoin, not a lot. I'm more of a stock kind of guy, but I mean, you know, a lot of people missed out on Bitcoin. So, I don't know. I bought some of that Dogecoin recently. But here's Saudi Arabia. They were trading it a lot in 2017, just like China was. But those are the places where now it's essentially banned or has some kind of laws that are restricting it. And then you can go down. It says countries where Bitcoin is legal. Japan, Germany, Georgia, Hong Kong. Hong Kong, that might be an iffy one because Hong Kong recently has essentially been taken over by China. So you can reasonably assume that Hong Kong is going to have the same rules as China. They locked up a bunch of journalists and they established. I got some of this info from China Uncensored. They established some kind of government bureaucracy within Hong Kong that is very pro communist China party. So, they're essentially just communist China party now. Same with like what they're trying to do with Taiwan. They're trying to take over Taiwan, and if they do get Taiwan, then it'll just be another basically China country. As of right now, I think Bitcoin is legal in Taiwan. So we'll see how that all, turns out. It says country where Bitcoin is neither legal nor illegal. Got Albania, Argentina, Colombia, Nigeria. These are just places that are not super well off. Well, you could say, yeah, those are countries that are not too well off. Quite a bit of them. You could say the United Arab Emirates might have a little bit of money just because of like oil and stuff, but they're not like the European or the West kind of countries, so they're not that kind of wealthy. And then in the video, they also asked Ray Dalio about a wealth tax, and I didn't find any good info on that. I mean, he said something about 33 different countries have done some form of a wealth tax, and he said things like Switzerland, but those are not like a super like give me all your wealth kind of scenarios. You could look at the United States and say all of our taxes are pretty up there when you combine everything, the state, local, federal. Maybe not to the degree of some of those countries over there, like Denmark or something, but it is we're up there in my opinion. But he said one thing: foreigners own more American bonds than Americans do. I didn't really know that. I'm assuming he means bonds like within the United States, which I don't know, that can make sense. Or he could mean corporate bonds. I don't know. I don't think that was. I think it was pretty vague how he was describing it. And then they go on to ask him about China and U.S., and he basically asserted every empire rises and then some fall, essentially. So it seemed like he was, leaning more towards China, especially considering, because they talked a little bit about political stuff, but he didn't go in like a political rant, but considering like our political atmosphere at the moment, it's not the best. China is way more aligned with their best interest than the United States is. And then I looked at Ray Dalio's portfolio. I just wanted to see what he had to kind of scroll through it. And really, when I was looking at it, his top 10 is SPY ETF ticker. That's his first one. Second is emerging markets, gold. I got some gold. Walmart, Procter Gamble, Alibaba. Okay, with Alibaba, that's a stock that could actually probably beat the market, depending at the price you buy it for. But that's for sure a growth stock. Maybe some of these emerging ETFs might be too. But those, I don't see somebody destroying the market with an ETF. Like, I mean, if you trade it, maybe, but I doubt you're going to get like a 25-30% return with an ETF. Which those kind of, percentages are pretty impossible for most people to make. But if you're considering that this guy is a hedge fund manager, I don't know if an ETF is the best route. A lot of us, probably half of these are ETFs of some sort. But like I said, if you trade it real well, maybe. But I don't see too many growth stocks. In my opinion, these kind of people should have growth stocks. But at the same time, has one of the biggest portfolios. When you have those bigger portfolios, you're kind of limited to what you could buy. But Alibaba wouldn't be a bad start. I guess the only problem with Alibaba is it's a Chinese stock. Actually, Alibaba, they own a kind of like a competitor to Robinhood. They own some kind of brokerage that is a competitor to like Robinhood and things like that. I can't find the name of it anymore though, unfortunately. Okay, Webull, I found it. Took me a second. Yeah, if you type in Webull on Google, spelled Webull, the parent company should be Alibaba. Unless it looks like they might have done a spinoff. At one point it was Alibaba. Now it's saying Fumi Technology. I've never even heard of this. Okay, let's click on its Wikipedia page and see what it says. Does it? Okay, it doesn't say. Okay. A former employee of Alibaba. That's weird. It used to say Alibaba. Now it's saying that Fumi Technology is its parent company. Okay then. Either way, though, this is a foreign exchange, I guess. I mean, it's not foreign. It's in the U.S. See, it says its headquarters in the U.S., but its owners are a bunch of foreigners, and they live in China, I'm pretty sure. Let me click on this person. What is this? Okay, owner says Zami. This is a, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it right. This is a Chinese multinational electronics company. Okay, they own shares in it. Doesn't say who was the founder. Oh, it says this person, Anthony something. Wang. Okay, no, that's key people. This guy is the founder. You can click on it. Wikipedia is definitely not the best, resource, but anyways, so that's probably the most growth stock that I could find within his portfolio. So like Coke, Pepsi, you're not gonna, those are not growth stocks. But Warren Buffett has 400,000 shares of Coca-Cola. Or excuse me, I think it's 400 million. I said 400,000. I meant 400 million. Warren Buffett has 400 million of Coca-Cola. He's had that 400 million for a long time now. He hasn't really sold or bought any. And he had Pepsi Cola at one point. Same with McDonald's. I don't think he owns that anymore. Okay, had to get the paper. Had to pause it real quick and get the paper. So this would be the Berkshire Annual Report for 2020. That just came out. I think this one came in the mail like last month for me. So I'm not sure exactly when he wrote it. But you can see the company he has. Let's see. Yeah, 400 million Coca-Cola shares. Percentage company owned. Warren Buffett's company owns 9.3. So he's always had around 10% of that company in his portfolio. And it still looks like he has a bunch of banks. I'm not even sure what this one company is. Itochu Corporation. I probably just slaughtered that, but he only has 5.1% in it. It's not that big of a position compared to his other ones. But in Warren Buffett's situation, it's a little different because he has Geico and a couple other whole companies that he just bought whole. Whereas I think this guy, Ray Dalio, just has a bunch of, he's a hedge fund manager, so just a bunch of shares and things of that nature. Maybe this JD.com, maybe that could be a growth stock. Some of these pharmaceuticals you might be able to argue as a growth stock. Oh, yeah, CVS. CVS is in this thing. Colgate, that's not really growth. JP Morgan. Maybe that's, I want to say that's a growth, though. Maybe like a stalwart, like Peter Lynch kind of style. Alright, and then last but not least, decided to scroll through a couple Motley Fool articles to get some of that news. They got a real funny one on Motley Fool called the 3 Vanguard's ETFs that can turn your stimulus check into 100,000. The way they phrased this was kind of funny because it was like, oh, am I going to get a 10-bagger? That's the way they kind of phrase it. But what they mean is build long-term wealth. You actually click on it and read the article, and it's like Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. VOO is the ticker, VOO. And then Vanguard Growth ETF, VUG. Vanguard Information Technology, VGT. So there's a couple of them on here, but those are not. I don't see ETFs making anybody a super high, like a 10-bagger or a 100-bagger or something, but those are like once in a blue moon kind of things anyways. See, this says invest $15 per month for 30 years. It's, the way they phrased it was pretty sneaky though. And there was one stock on here when I was searching I can't find the name of it anymore, but it was apparently this company, it's a growth stock, but this company helped catch Bin Laden. I wish I could find it again, but I just could not find the article. And then here's the 3 top recent IPO stocks to buy now. When you take a break from this stuff and then you come back, there's quite a bit of info on here where it's like, oh, that's kind of new. I didn't know that was out. So you got like Bumble, that's like that dating app. There's another one, unless they like took it down, called Meet Me, which is like similar to all those other dating apps. Here's Roblox. Roblox is how you pronounce that word. It's a video game kind of company, like virtual reality gadgets. So there's quite a few companies out now that this article is entitled 3 Top Recent IPO Stocks to Buy Now. And then, of course, this last one article I wanted to look at was why NVIDIA stock popped today. I think that's how you pronounce that. NVIDIA. The ticker is NVDA. Now, this was a stock I was following for a while. I remember during the 2016, 2017, it's probably shooting up again because of this. The Bitcoin era, it was shooting up because I guess it had some stuff to do with Bitcoin, but its competitors are like Intel and Advanced Micro Devices. Those are its competitors. But when you like look at the financials of this company, this one is definitely a growth stock. This is a stock I would say if you can buy it at an okay price to buy it, because this stock is gonna probably continuously go up. Like I'm pretty bullish on all the tech stocks. But like I said, bank stocks, those might make a comeback at some point. Bank stocks and telecoms, those are the ones that have kind of been more depressed, especially banks after 2008. Well, I would say my analysis for Ray Dalio's portfolio is it's just a bunch of like ETFs essentially. ETFs that I'm assuming he's just going to keep trading and try to, I don't want to say time the market, but buy it at the best opportunity. And I guess I will see you guys in the next segment, which hopefully I will do this at least once a week.